Yo! What's up? It's Jason. I am back again with another video, or as Johnny Mac would say, greetings and salutations. I don't think I did that right. I don't think that's exactly how he does his intro, but dude has a wicked channel. I've been following him for a while over in the UK, Johnny Mac's Rock and Metal Plus. I think initially his plan was to have more, hence the plus part of the video, or his channel. But nevertheless, he covers a wide array of metal, of course, some punk stuff as well, goth stuff. I think he's playing like The Mission in his video, his original video for this contest. So also, truth be told, I have already won one of Johnny Mac's contests. I think that was kind of my initial connection to his channel, and it was awesome. Super nice guy, sent over some stuff. I remember getting some Iron Maiden singles and a CD or of some sort. So I'm just going to put it out there right now. If I do win this contest, big if, although that has happened in VC history before, I think a certain Christian Osario won my contest 2 years in a row, or at least 2 years. If I do win this contest, please pass on the prize, if there's a prize, to someone else more deserving. Nevertheless, let's get into it, because I am like totally on the deadline here. I think there's only one more day, and he's already extended the contest. So he's got 10 questions for us. I'm going to start off with number 1. Show and tell the first album or gig movie you saw in the cinema. Well, first album I have in my collection still. First album that was given to me as a very, very small little kid. I'm talking before grade 1. Was this album here, Kiss Alive. I still have my original copy. I think a babysitter or somebody actually wrote this into the album cover with an eraser. And so it holds a lot of memories, obviously. Double vinyl, famous live concert, right, for Kiss. I also got some handwriting back here, too. But sadly, I only have one of the discs still left in this awesome compilation, Wicked concert. I mean, honestly, the recordings of these tracks sound better than the original recordings, I think, on the original albums. So yeah, Kiss Alive, one of the first records, the first record, really, that I ever got. I can't remember what was the first record I purchased with my own money. I used to buy a lot of 45s when I first started out. And yeah, I'm that old that we started out with vinyl and then got into cassettes, big time, a lot of metal on cassette. I can remember my first CD. So the first 2 CDs I bought, actually, when they first came out, the new technology, would have been maybe that year the CDs arrived in Canada anyway. I got Dokken, Tooth and Nail, and Iron Maiden's live album, which was like a double album. And it was always really long to listen to on cassette, so I knew I wanted to get it on CD. So, first concert I ever went to, this goes way back to like 1985 maybe 84. I was just a very young lad again, in grade school. My mom took me to see Loverboy, and there you go, some Canadian rock. The Kid Is Hot Tonight, Working for the Weekend, all that kind of stuff. Lucky Ones. So, cool story. I finally, many years later, 40 years later, I end up seeing Loverboy and Mike Reno and the boys again last year in concert in Toronto, so that was kind of cool. And he's still trying to belt it out, but it was a little choppy. Vocals were a little under pressure, a little choppy, but Loverboy, old school Canadian rock right there. First movie I saw, I don't really remember, but I do remember seeing Star Wars in the theater. I think probably Empire Strikes Back. I think it was probably Empire Strikes Back that I saw in the theater, because Star Wars, the first one, would have been quite young for me, because that's in the 70s. Last album. So this is that was the beginning. Last album now, gig and movie you saw. Well, I can do a twofer here, because at the last punk gig that I went to, I picked up a record. So I saw local legends Zeal. This is their first vinyl. It's based on one of their demo tapes that I have actually somewhere in my collection. It's called Illusion of Peace, and it just came out. Ripping hardcore stuff. Highly recommend checking out this band. totally rips. Some killer musicians, players in this band too, who've all been in other hardcore bands locally. So I saw that show amongst other bands that were playing that night, a Chilean hardcore band as well. Last movie I saw was this movie. Got to see this on the big screen. Maybe for the first time on the big screen. I've always seen it on VHS. Obviously, I'm holding a VHS here. And I managed to score a $1.99 copy of this a while back. Yeah, this is the real Crash movie that you want to see. The OG Crash movie. This is David Cronenberg's Crash, not that other movie, which is totally different storyline completely. This is the one that's like all about sex and technology, pretty much, and car crashes. So, it's Cronenberg. If you know his stuff, then you know where I'm going with that. That was the last movie I saw in the theater, and they've been playing slowly, sort of every week, a Cronenberg OG movie, and I think The Fly is up next this week, so that's going to be pretty cool. Always, number 3, always your fave album. I'm going to go with this one. I didn't show it in my last video. I showed a different one by this band, but I'm going to go with Bathory and the GOAT album. The debut album. I still remember getting this on cassette as a kid. This came out in 84. Probably in Canada we got it in 85 or 86 by the time I picked it up on cassette, and blew my mind. It was one of the most satanic, scary stuff when you're a little kid. This, along with, Venom, Slayer, King Diamond, Merciful Fate, that was some scary shit. But yeah, I still love this album. Still play it all the time, especially side 1. Side 1, Hades, Reaper, Necromancy, Sacrifice. I mean, that is a killer side A, if ever there was one. It's raw, crusty sounding, and it's first wave black metal, and it influenced everything afterwards, right? So Bathory for an album all the time. Something old, t-shirt, album, etc. Well, I was looking for an old Slayer t-shirt I had, and I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. First time I got to see Slayer actually was in Ottawa at one of our hockey arenas. Maybe like just a quarter or half of the arena was set up for the concert, and they came on, threw down. It was like a totally sick concert, and it was all the original band members still. So this is like in 2005 or 2008. I wouldn't say later than 2008. But yeah, Hanneman, Gary King, and Dave Lombardo was on drums, I think, for that tour. So yeah, that was pretty sick. Something old album-wise, I'm going to go hip-hop here. This is one of my OG hip-hop records from my collection. This is my original copy, still going. I wouldn't say going strong, because I'll show you guys the vinyl in a second, but this came out in 86, 87, Canadian pressing. Hard to find this for under $100 probably at this point. Total classic. This album, top to bottom, every track is wicked. Even like the bonus beats and stuff and the scratch songs are all dope. To me, this album kind of epitomizes the beginning of the golden era for me, because 86 to 92, 93 is the golden era of hip hop. Just production wise, sample wise, influence, rapping, the whole nine. I mean, that was the best era for hip hop, bar none. So, Paid in Full, the debut by Eric B. and Rakim. Now here's the vinyl copy of this, just to show how old school this is. Yeah, what you're looking at, there should be some coloration here, but this has been worn down. So this is what the colors are supposed to look like. But on this side, they've been worn off, and there's a lot of like just groove wear, like heavy groove wear. It still plays. It's just a little bit snap, crackle, and pop for sure. But it still plays, and it's actually my only copy of Eric B. and Rakim's Paid in Full. I should probably get a second copy just for more playability. One more record I wanted to show that's old as time immemorial in my collection, and one of my all-time faves as well, is this experimental industrial record by Soviet France. I bring it out every so often to show on camera. I don't unbag it too often. Yeah, because it came in this like planks of wood basically. I think this came out in like 86 or something as well. In the 80s. It was my first experimental record along with Einstein and Neubauten. It's really cool. A lot of drone and ambience, some radio frequency waves, I think, as well. This is pre-sampler, I think. This is like using tapes and tape loops and such. It's the only Soviet France album I have and need, I guess. It's called Moshima? Monomishi. This is the actual vinyl here. It's a double record. Keep it separate from the case. But yeah, that's an oldie in my collection. Next up, something new. We already did the last album gig. Something new album, new shirt. Well, okay, let's talk about the shirt first of all, because I am wearing right now my super bootleg Skinny Puppy shirt, which you can see is a little bit blurry. Got it online. Now I also got a newer Skinny Puppy shirt, also a boot, but maybe much cooler. So yeah, this is like from the Addiction single, I think, like the third and fourth album. I'm gonna be rocking that soon. That's my got that down in Mexico City along with some other killer shirts. Something new album. Yeah, I just got this in the mail and was a little concerned actually with the case. I still am a little concerned. It's got a little bit of bubbling effect. This came from Amazon, so as you know, comes in like the thinnest cardboard box they can find. Yeah, I got a copy of Pestilence. The demos. This came out in 2015 on Vic Records, and this is basically two of their old school demos, the Dysentery Penance, and got it on the turntable now. The vinyl sounds great, but there was a little bit of like curvature going on with the case. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see, but Pestilence are awesome. Old school sort of thrash and death on this stuff. They got way proggier later on in the 90s, but it's also pretty cool. What's next? Number 6, something borrowed or gift. I'm going to go with gift because I don't tend to borrow much. Oh, sounds like a fire broke out. Yeah, so I don't often borrow any records. In fact, one of the few times I ever lent a record back in the old days was pretty famous example for me. It was a Public Enemy album, Takes a Nation, and I lent the record. I'm not even sure why I lent the record out. It came back without the case, basically. So I have double copies of it, but that was kind of an odd one. Anyway, recently met up with, well, maybe not that recent. It was getting on almost a year now, but I met up with Brian, aka Embryonic Robot, in Toronto. He is a big VC YouTuber living in Toronto. We sometimes meet up, do some record digging, etc. And he was very generous. One of these times gave me a ton of VCLT, including 3, not 1, not 2, but I'm pretty sure all 3 of these Rush albums. Because I told him I had no Rush, despite being Canadian, no Rush in my record collection. So he ended up giving me 3 of these records. Super progressive stuff. This one is my favorite of the bunch. The Moving Pictures, because you got Tom Sawyer, which some people just can never listen to again because they've heard it a million times. But yeah, so 3 Rush records from Brian at Embryonic Robot, and that leads us into the next question, which is all about shoutouts. So that's a shout out to Brian, but also some shout outs to some of the metal VC. We've got to give shouts out to Mr. Boulder, Mark G with a C, who's now called the Bowels of Retribution. Sean the Beast, probably like the most gentleman beast you've met. Marty Mack, Tainted Lord, Tony, Dennis over at Analog Archives, get the killer collection. Roger or Roger, Korvik, Darcy, 6 Strings and 9 Lives, another Canadian VC. Guz69, still going down there in Brazil. Steve at S&T Young, always filming in the dark, that guy. He's always in the dark. I want to see like a daytime, I don't know if Steve's ever done a daytime video. I want to see it. And our guy Dave, I'm forgetting his channel name again. I'm going to put it down below in the comments. Always commenting on my YouTube stuff or my Facebook stuff as well. So that's a shout out to some of the Metal VC, but there's more, obviously. Number 9, question for Johnny Mac. I'm going to go with, because I know he's a movie fan, what is your favorite horror movie and favorite movie overall of all time, basically? Maybe they're the same. I don't know. Maybe they're 2 different movies. What's your favorite horror movie or favorite movie of all time, and why? And I'm going to show you one of my favorite movies of all time, Repo Man. This is the Criterion Collection reissue. Originally came out in '84. I saw it on the big screen last year, which was really awesome to see again. It's got Emilio Estevez, it's got punks, it's got a killer soundtrack with like Circle Jerks and Iggy Pop. I think it's got one of the guys from the Circle Jerks is an actor in the movie, and it's also got sci-fi. So that's like a combo made in heaven for me. So Repo Man, one of my all-time faves. I just love this classic flick. It's also, I didn't mention, directed by Alex Cox, who did Sid and Nancy as well. And finally, 10. How did I find his channel? Well, it goes right back to the beginning of this video where I talk about entering his last contest, or maybe his first contest, rather. And I guess it was like just through the YouTube universe algorithm that I found Rock and Metal Plus. So there it is. That's my entry. Hopefully I got it in just under the wire, and I will see you guys all soon. Oh, one more thing. I forgot to show something blue. That was question number 8. Wow, as you can tell, Johnny, that I'm not really good with these like 10 questions coming from all different angles. Something blue. Let's go out with the Dicks. Yeah, some Texas hardcore right there. Old school Texas punk. Kill from the Heart. Fucking best album. If you haven't heard the Dicks, definitely do yourself a favor. These guys rock, man. Especially love. My favorite track by these guys is Rich Daddy on side 1. Just play that one to death all the time. This got reissued by Alternative Tentacles. And yeah, it's definitely blue. So there it is. That's the final answer for this contest entry.